Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to wish our Professor Dr. Nirmala Adhikari for his 50th Golden Jubilee, and I'm so glad to be a participant of this webinar. And I'm also thankful for Dr. Nirmala Adhikari because his birthday has provided us this huge platform to talk about our indigenous knowledge system. Most of the presenters have been talking about Nepal's indigenous, or let's say Asia-centric, or Nepal's indigenous knowledge system. So one of the presentation is on the Dr. Nirmalmani Adhikari is done by me. So Professor Dr. Nirmal Adhikari's leadership in paradigm shift, examining transformative roles in political, cultural, and social spheres. So this is the topic of my presentation. And since I don't have much time, so I will be skipping some of the parts. This is the outline of my research, my presentation: introduction, literature review, research designs, findings, discussion, conclusion, and references. So let's get into the introduction. So, role of a thinker in transforming a society. They always play a huge role in transforming a society because they uh, exploration of their own civilization and cultural assets always gives a way to transform the society. And in this slide, what we can understand is Nepal is on the verge of transformation, and who has played the prominent role matters a lot. And at the conclusion part, I will be discussing more how Dr. Adhikari's work has given the fuel to the transformation process. And in this part, the paradigm shift means that the whole way of thinking is reconstructed. And Dr. Adhikari's work, one of the major works, has given the fuel to reconstruct the thinking pattern of Nepalese, and also many institutions of Nepal, where Nepal is heading to. So, and his works have created a new discourses. And the last one, the transition from a paradigm in the crisis to a new one from which a new tradition of a normal science can emerge, is far from the cumulative process. It is rather a reconstruction of the field. Totally new fundamentals have been created because of Dr. Nirmal Adhikari's work. So my research designed, research question is, how has Nirmal Adhikari's leadership contributed to a paradigm shift in political, cultural, and social spheres? So my approach is qualitative and descriptive analysis. I have dealt with the secondary resources, and the sampling is purposive. So my findings are: it has offered an indigenous alternative paradigm grounded in Nepali historical and cultural realities, harmony and cooperation in social changes, and energized multicultural identity and fosters Saharideta, brought classical indigenous knowledge into contemporary life. So I have taken only four major works, two theories and two different conferences of the major program, which was enacted by Dr. Nirmal Adhikari. So two theories. First theory is the pre-state. It's a state-nation theory. And before the state-nation theory, what was the condition? It was the dominant paradigm was from the nation-state theory. And one the heightened example was Nepal's then-time Deputy Prime Minister claimed that Nepal is a multinational state. And it was the dominant discourse at that time, that most of the political parties and institutions and even public discourses, they always used to talk about that Nepal is a multinational state. So it was a dominant discourse that time, and the theory itself was outdated. Even the country, even the location where it started. So it was from Westphalia, and according to Das Gupta, so it was imported ideology from Westphalia, and was being one of the dominant narrative at that time. But after the theory, state nation theory by Dr. Nirmal Adhikari, what happened? So impact of the state nation theory is it has created an alternative discourse in the beginning. So more than three dozens programs, newspaper articles, and public forums. Most of them they were talking about Nepal is not a nation state, but it is a state nation. So this is how it started, and the when the dominant paradigm of nation state was from the deputy prime minister. At that time, Nepal was almost the most of the public discourses they used to talk about demarcation of Nepal's federal system based on the identity. So they were talking about either to have 21 states or 14 states or 12 states in this way, but there were no any alternative or the solution of the almost we're heading to the snake conflict. So there was no solution, but Rajya Rashtra or the state nation theory, it has provided a solution, and this solution gave at that time the state nation gave the solution to the identity based politics that time. So this is how one major problem of identity politics was almost solved. Now if we look at the parliament at this time, there is very little number of the MPs or the member of parliaments who advocate Nepal as a multi-state, multi-nation state. So what we can claim is the theory, state nation theory, has almost eradicated. There are some voices still left, but almost eradicated the dominant paradigm of nation state. So this is one major contribution by Dr. Nirmal Adhikari, and the other one is let's move it to the first. What was the condition before the statodynamic progressivism was developed? So there was. Most of us know that 10 years the conflict, Maoist conflict, was founded on the dialectical materialism. So it took 17,000 life, and most of the people and most of the public discourses were either to how to solve the problem from the Maoist insurgency, but there were no any scholarly or any theory that countered that the in the fundamental level dialectical materialism is wrong. So it was Dr. Nirmal Adhikari who gave a theory that in a theoretical level it countered the dialectical materialism. It was not only the effect, but it has attacked on the root cause. So the problem, because of the dialectical materialism, it was also imported from the Germany. Uh, it was the dominant paradigm. If we look at that time in the parliament, most of the member of parliament were from or advocating the dialectical materialism. So there was no any alternative discourse in this regard. So one, it was the reason of one of the reason of Nepal's political instability was the dialectical materialism. Based on that, there was many political system, political parties, most of them communist and socialist, and they were just giving and taking, playing games. So it created a political instability. So at that time, it was not only on the effect side, but Dr. Adhikari's theory gave the solution of the root cause. So impact of statodynamic progressivism, what happened later? So it has created that development can be achieved from harmony and also cooperation. So social changes can happen, but with the balanced approach. It's not like one becomes dominant and other becomes it's like binary approach. The most of the dialectical materialism, it was based on the dialectical approach, but the statodynamic progressivism gave the idea, the theory, so that we can achieve a progress from harmony and also the cooperation between two parties. So, so this was a major achievement, and it was also contextual. So it is rooted in Nepal's or also Eastern civilization. So it was. He created this the statodynamic progressivism created such collective consciousness if we look today's parliament, the election from 2026 parliament, so there is very little amount of the member of parliament who advocate that dialectical materialism is the final solution of Nepal's existing problem. So somehow it has solved the problem which is outdated. The theory was outdated, so the outdated theory created a problem, and the statodynamic progression created the solution of the problem. So two major achievement Dr. Nirmal Adhikari has already done it, and these two things, it is related. It's not about the theory, but it's a function. So what was the condition before the Rashtriya Dharmika Sahayata Sammelan and also the World Sanskrit Day? So condition of indigenous culture and heritage was in a defensive mode. So whoever talks about, especially in Nepal, whoever talks about their cultural identities has to be in a defensive mode, that he wanted to, or she wanted to hide his own cultural identity or dharmic identity, and in order to show that they are modern, they have to hide it and then become like, oh, I'm a humanist, I don't believe in this religion or that religion. In that way they used to present themselves. So and there was a prevalent, the attack against Sanskrit language was prevalent. Most of the so-called scholars, they used to claim that the Sanskrit language is a dead language and it doesn't have any future, stuff like that. So, but later something different happened. So we'll talk about later. And the single religious identity, there was two different segments before. For example, one. In order to show they are modern, they needed to hide their own religious identity, and the other extremist way that single religious identity was the Nepal's identity. So they were claiming Nepal is this country, and the other group of people, they wanted to hide their own identity. So this was the problem, and there was lacking of a common platform for the dialogues, and there was a mistrust between dharmic communities. So after Dr. Nirmal Adhikari, he started Rashtriya Dharmic Saritita Sammelan in 2019. So cooperation and harmonious relations between indigenous religious identities started. And they used to come together, they used to talk, they used to create the dialogue between give and take. So this is how they started, finding a common ground. And the World Sanskrit Day also started in 2019, and that gave a revival of Sanskrit language. And those people who were claiming that the Sanskrit language is a dead language now is being defensive. So, and also Rajyarashtra and Sthiti Gatyatmak Pragatibada, those two books are also published in Sanskrit. So no one can claim that Sanskrit is a dead language, because it has, even today we are being the major theories are being published in Sanskrit language. So no one can claim that Sanskrit is a dead language as they used to claim. So two theories and two different programs, they have created a huge impact. So in a conclusion, what we can understand here is indigenous knowledge system, indigenous knowledge always wins the acceptance, and it sustains in the long run, and collective consciousness has been mobilized because of Dr. Nirmal Adhikari's work, and a new dominant paradigm is emerging. If we look at Nepal's Prime Minister's oath recently, his ceremony was almost he resembled like Nepal's cultural ceremony. So he has used the Dr. Nirmal Adhikari's theory and the notion of the theory in the highest position of Nepal's state. So and since he is a young prime minister and he has a huge fan followers, and one single day has promoted Nepal's knowledge system to almost 30 million people. So what we can claim here, Dr. Adhikari's work has done tremendous work from the head of the state to the general public. He has bridged how Nepal's indigenous knowledge system can be dominant in Nepal. So this is my presentation, and these are some references. If you have any questions, I would like to happy to answer. Thank you very much.